So this is something I've been wanting to do for a while, but I've never started to. I'm here on the middle of run, and just like, okay, I've got to make this video. So I'm a dad, I'm a runner, I'm a Jesus follower, and this world is crazy times right now. And I was thinking, if I do this on a regular basis, call this wanderings or wanderings while on a run. Wanderings as I wander. But it's just with the crazy world right now, just thinking, what do we do? How do we respond in this world? How do we live in light of the crises and the upheaval happening today? In today's world, we all want to have our opinion heard. I mean, look at me, I'm making this and putting my opinion, my voice out there. But how often do we actually stop and listen to other opinions, other voices, other ideas? So, I don't know. I just want to put these ideas out there for my own personal ramblings, for my kids so they can hear my ramblings, my thoughts, for whoever might stumble upon this video and want to watch it. I was just reading yesterday just about this idea of globalization, this idea of perfectionability, where we tend to think humans as these perfectible beings, as if we do enough and enough education, enough training, enough molding, that we can become perfect, our society can become perfect. But as we've been seeing this last decade, it doesn't work. We have a whole bunch of nationalism, looking out for self, looking out for the nation, not thinking of the interest of others, not being kind, wars, ideology, and it's this battle, this idea that we're all fighting for something, whether you're fighting for the ideal utopian global society, whether you're fighting for your own nation, whether you're fighting for your own self and fighting for that roll of toilet paper at the store. It's just this doesn't seem to work. It doesn't seem to be working in a way that people are hoping, and people are scrambling, people are fearful, people are at loss because they're expecting this utopian society, and we're just getting this dystopian society. We're just getting this broken world where it just doesn't seem to be working right. And that's where we start to look at what is our reality? What do we see as real? I mean, the common idea nowadays is there is no reality. It's all construct, it's all what you make, it's all how we make it, it's all what has been evolved over time. But that doesn't seem to be working because you have different views, different ideas that they don't fit. And the utopian ideas, well, the ideas that don't fit, let's get rid of them, let's move them. But there's a whole bunch of people in the world who don't think the same way as Western culture thinks, as the educational system thinks. And as a Christian, this is where we start to get into the conversation of what is real, what is the reality of our world, of our nature, of how humans operate. And as a Christian, we see it very differently, where people are not perfectible. People are sinful, people are broken, people are in rebellion against God and trying to do things their own way. I just see right now maybe as a Tower of Babel moment for our society. We've been building and building and building and building and thinking that we can be God, we can reach the sky. And that's all collapsing. That's all coming down. Because ultimately God is the one who's in control, and He's the one who says when nations rise and when nations fall. He's the one at work, and we have a choice of, do we follow Him or do we fight Him? Are we going to be with Him or against Him? And somewhere in the middle doesn't count. If you're in the middle, you're not with Him, you're against Him. And this idea of sin and rebellion against God is where it's like we all have this disease and sickness that we can try to deny, we can try to say, nope, that's what the Christians think, but that's not what I think. Well, either you have it or you don't. And if Christianity is right and everyone's sick and dying, you need a cure. Just like with this coronavirus, we need a vaccine. You can put your head in the sand all you want with coronavirus. You can say, oh, it doesn't exist. It's still, it's just made up by the news media to get people scared. And believe what you want, but when you get the disease, it's not going to be fun. And you can deny that you have it, but you still have it. And you see people who are walking around who might have it, and they're just in denial. They don't know. Just as with sin and with this world, people are walking around in denial that there's no God. I don't know who that God is. I can't know who that God is. Yeah, you can. He tells us. I mean, if you were God, how would you reveal yourself? You'd come down and tell people. You would write things down and have people, your spokespeople tell you, and that's what the Bible is all about. God's spokespeople telling people, hey, I'm real. I'm here. I created this place. And then he even came down as Jesus, and yet people still chose not to believe. They want to not listen. So wherever you are, whatever your view is, whatever your idea is, don't just say that's not real. Take an honest look. Take an honest look to see, is this Christianity reality? Because Apostle Paul says if there was no resurrection, if Jesus didn't die, then us Christians are the most to be pitied because we're just following a blank pipe dream. But if Jesus did rise from the dead, if he is who he says he is, then we have the hope. We know where we're going. We know how this ends. We know who wins. And I want to be with God. I know he lives. I know I've seen how he works in my life. I've seen the validity of the Bible and how it holds water. I've read it multiple times. He's my Lord. He's my God. He's the one I want to follow. And so wherever you are, whoever you are, I just wanted to say that God does love you and he is in control. And there is hope for this whole crisis, whatever may happen, whether the economy collapses, whether the vaccine is found. He is good. And I trust him no matter what may come. So that's my little ramblings. I was on the run. Beautiful view out here over my city. I just pray for this city. I pray that God would bless this city, that God would be moving among the people, among the church, that people would turn to him, follow him, and not just do what they want to do, but say, okay, Lord, what do you have for me today? How do you want to work in my life today? That we won't be constructing our own idea of what it means, but we'd be looking at the Bible, looking for a firm foundation of who he is, what does he say, and that we would not be trying to mold God, but we'd let God mold us. So that's my musing for today. I don't know if do this again or not, but I was up here on the hill and I just had to do this right now. I've just been thinking about it for weeks and I need to stop and say, okay, Lord, this is the time to make a video. So praying for you wherever you are. Thank you for listening.